I was dating somebody who was in a band, and I've always been musical, but he was like, oh, rock music and, that kind of world. So I think it was in that time of my life that I was going out to shows, and I just remember feeling so envious that I couldn't do that. And I was looking at, from songwriters that are just like a singer-songwriter folk to metal. And here I am, like, how do you have the confidence to get up stage, write your own music, and be so vulnerable in front of an audience? So, like, this is me. And that's kind of what got me to do it. That really was my pure inspiration to do Holy Wars or any music original. And then there was a moment where I met Alice Cooper on a show, and he heard me sing, and he said, like, are you a singer? Or what's your backstory? And just one conversation really was the confidence that I needed. He was like, this business is crap. I wouldn't recommend it for my own children. However, I see something in you and I feel like you're young enough, go for it. And so he gave me some great advice that day, and I never looked back. So that's like the whole spectrum.
There's so much to unpack in there, because I love the fact that you got something good out of that relationship with the guy, because he's obviously an ex, but at least, it kind of got you as your gateway into the heavy music.
Yeah, he was so not supportive of it either, because I think he was very much like, it's my thing,
Right.
So
yeah.
that little bit of spite or that need to prove myself definitely helped ignite it. I wouldn't say that's a healthy reason to start music, but it definitely gave me that kind of like, I don't know, fuck it mentality. So
Now tell me about how you met Nick and decided to form Holy Wars.
So that was after Alice Cooper, because one of the things he said that day was, take it from me, get a gimmick. And I was like, no, I was such like a tried and true, like, I don't want a gimmick, which really, looking back, what he was saying is like an image or brand. And if you want to be more shocking, of course, go for it. But whatever it is, be clear and cohesive. And I didn't take that advice, but I did take the advice where he did say to form a band. And at that point, I was just writing sad, piano music in my bedroom, very much on the Fiona Apple, Regina Spektor, Tori Amos world. And it was scary to me to collaborate, but I put out an ad at MI. I had some friends that were alumni there. Nick was just graduating there, and he was, after being a jazz musician and a guitarist for hire, I think he was really craving being in a band again, because that's what he grew up in the punk scene, in hardcore and punk scene in Vegas. So I definitely wasn't that band that he responded to. But there was something about the music I created myself, and I think he just saw potential in it, even though I was very green and I knew nothing about collaborating. And through the years, we crafted so much music that, probably nobody will ever hear. And we had another project before this one, but then eventually that came to a screeching halt when my parents passed away in 2015. And I stopped music entirely. And, he was always there by my side, kind of trying to help me grow through the grief, and he just was like, well, maybe if you just start writing music again, that'll help you heal. And then it would be 2 years later that we wrote this music that started Holy Wars, and I didn't even want it to be a band, but it kind of just became that way. We had an opportunity to do a show and we weren't ready for it, but we wrote a body of music to fit a 30-minute set. We only had 2 songs that I wrote for grieving, and then the rest we had to fill a set. And we did, and at the Echoplex in Los Angeles was that very first show. And we played to a bunch of people that never heard of us, and they just responded in such an incredible way that we never even saw prior in our previous work. So it was that moment that we were like, I think we have something here that is healing me, but maybe it could help others. And then we just kept going from there.
You guys actually recently released a track called Body Temple, which I really dig. It's super heavy, but like the vocals are melodic and kind of, punky. So would you say it's a little heavier than a lot of your stuff?
Oh, definitely. And I think it's kind of showing where we're heading. The turning point for us now is once we started touring in 2021 as Holy Wars, we started to see a lot of fans come out, whether they, most of them didn't even know us because we were opening for the headliners. And the common thing was always, yeah, I checked out you guys' music and I was interested to see your set, but man, live, you guys are heavy, you're aggressive, like you go so hard, but your music doesn't sound like that on the recording. And that really didn't go lost on us, because we're always growing and learning, and we never think we know everything ever. So at that point, Nick and I were like, wow, there is a disconnect, isn't it? Like, why do we go heavier? And why am I throwing myself and getting circle pits? And, why am I doing all that? Why is that in me? So we decided to take the music that best represents what we do live, because live is our number one favorite thing and we don't want to stop touring. So we really want to bridge that gap between what we sound like on the recording and what the live show represents.
What advice do you have for young women who, look at you and say, "Oh, I want to do that. I want to be her." Like, what advice would you have?
I get this a lot from young women actually across these tours. They always say confidence. They always like, "Oh, you're so confident up there. I don't know how to do that." And I always tell them, I literally was exactly what you said to me is how I felt. And I don't know. I feel like it's take confidence out, because it's such like this mask that you put on, like, I'm going to be confident today. Zoop, I'm a confident person now. I don't think it's real. But if you look at everything you do in your life with purpose and you're not scared to show yourself, I think that is confidence. That's bravery. And our very first show that we went out there that at Echoplex, I remember I said to myself, fuck it. Because everything I experienced tonight is not going to be anything as much as what I just experienced losing my parents 2 years ago. So why am I scared of this person's opinion of me? And so I can't say it's confidence, but just if you see a brick wall, break through it, like, don't let somebody's opinion of you make you feel like that is true, because it's your opinion of you. That's the truth. And that opinion of yourself is a constant journey. Like, you're never going to sit, like I said, like, today I feel confident. Tomorrow I'm going to feel super insecure. It's a constant, ebb and flow. But if you always look at yourself as like, in the end, kind of nihilistically, nothing really matters, then just go for it, and know you're going to make mistakes and know you're going to fall on your face. But those moments keep building that story of yours. And then eventually you're going to look back at who you were 5 years ago and say, wow, that poor girl was so insecure. And if only she could have known at that time what she has ahead of her, if you allow it.